Perfect. I'm a product marketer here at Tellius. Curtis is a senior solutions engineer.
Hi, everybody. My name's Steve Miller. I'm actually a managing partner for M2E Advisory and strategic partners with Tellius. Two key access points, right? You got raw data coming from everywhere. I talked about it coming internally, coming externally. You got your IRI, you've got your Nielsen's, you've got other sources of data that comes from paid and other non-paid sources. Well, really what you're looking at is how your categories are growing internally versus how the category and the market itself and the appeal of that. And ultimately where you want to bring all those into that centristic approach. When you connect the 6 key pillars as you think about category management, driving the market intelligence, understanding the shopper, realizing how that is being, perceived in the competition and how your products are performing versus the competitors in your space. Bringing this technical intelligence that's at your hand. Everybody is, again, you look at the names at the bottom here, Oracles, the Nielsen's, the Shopify's, the RIs, you guys are never short of data. But how do you get that data and package that data in such a way that makes it effective and more practical in the everyday use is critical. And you think about that in terms of business planning and then ultimately understanding the performance over time is in terms of your internal evaluations and how you then take that back all the way up the food chain is why we believe this partnership with Tellius and the ability to do this with natural language insights is game-changing for this space.
Tellius provides natural language search, automated insights, the predictive analytics capabilities, as well as AutoML. It helps to power the fact packs that M2E creates with all of the data. And typically we've seen use cases in category management, on shopper insights teams. People have used us on the supply chain end, and there's different use cases on the CPG end that we've seen quite popular on our platform.
Sure, yeah. Guys, as we think about what I just talked about a few minutes ago and the various companies that I've been a part of and worked with, everybody is never short on data. And ultimately, how you access the data, ultimately manipulate the data and then use it, it becomes rather tedious and monotonous in a lot of cases. But, in the stock, when I was working in the home improvement space, the sheer number of SKUs and items were in the millions. We were like 2 to 3 million SKUs between online and in-store. The 30 plus internal plugins in terms of data inserts, not including external vendors, the need for something simplistic and scalable, but also repeatable was critical. And when you think about learning the consumer points of input and understanding how do you put the right SKUs in the right location? Well, not everything is meant to go everywhere. And with the data now readily available at your fingertips, thinking about an attribute-based approach that allows you to personalize your assortments, cutting the tail, right? Everybody thinks about just cutting the tail, the SKUs that aren't performing and ultimately are a drain on your ROI. Well, without understanding that loyalty factor in that aspect and ultimately how you could potentially be removing SKUs that are key items to some of your most loyal customers, we were able to identify how to bring consumer into the mix in that type of decision making to better personalize the assortments in lieu of the traditional cut the tail approach. But really, as you think about the process around this, you think about it in terms of gaining leadership, confirmation, allowing you guys to showcase your data in such a way and present it in such a visualized way that it's consumable and bite-sized for even the senior level executives to understand it.
The 5 Whys approach provides the framework, ultimately, for a meaningful and intuitive conversation with your data. The chapters will allow you to drill across the metrics that matter most to you, whether that's dollars, percentage dollars, unit sales, market share, generally anything. Let's start by asking a somewhat simple question. So we'll say, show me my subcategories by promotions over time, right? For items like subcategories or promotions, you don't need to know, right, the arcane naming convention of the underlying data set. Rather, you can use the words and phrases that you use to conduct your business every day. And then we can leverage this information and say, well, I'm actually really interested to go back to our nails and understand how this change in promotional spend ultimately affected our business downstream, right? You can see that here, Tellius has done some of the work to highlight that anomalous data. And if I choose to click on it, I can simply say, I would like to now understand why, right? And the way that I like to think about it is that, these insights, these templated insights that come with these chapters, realistically, they're meant to be the magnet for finding that needle in the haystack, right? This isn't meant to replace, how the people in your organization that know their business better than anyone else in the world. It's meant to supplement their efforts and make their efforts more efficient.